Hello again and welcome. Well, today we're going to look at attacking and defending fortified positions. Now, I've done infantry tactics, cavalry tactics and artillery tactics, and I should have probably done this roundabout then, but perhaps the reason I didn't is I actually hate attacking fortified positions. I avoid it when I can in any battle. But you look at European battlefields where the Napoleonic wars were fought, they're strewn with villages, hamlets, houses, which the enemy always seem to want to fortify. So it's a fact of life. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the reasons why you would fortify a house, and then turn it around and look at the attacker's side and what he can do about it. Then I want to talk about one of the most famous defensive battles that I know of, and that's Hougoumont during the Waterloo battle. I think it will bring everything together very nicely. Last but not least, we'll go to the tabletop and see how tricolour rules handle attacking a fortified position. Lots to do, let's get at it. Okay, we'll look at the first 3 dot points that we have there on why you defend a fortified position. Firstly, it disrupts the enemy. He can't move around it without taking casualties, which is annoying, disrupts his manoeuvres, and affects his morale effectively. Second dot point, the enemy can't afford to leave you in his rear for all the obvious reasons. And the third dot point, it costs the enemy more to take the fortified position than it does for you to hold it. That's the first 3 dot points. And the fourth dot point is the quality of troops you wish to deploy in the farmhouse. The better the troops you put in there, the longer the farmhouse or the fortified position is going to last, and it's going to cost the enemy more. So by doing that, of course, you take them out of your front line, and that's a issue that you have to decide for yourself. Now we'll move to the other side and why attack a fortified position, and let's look at the first 3 dot points. Once again, you can't afford to leave the enemy in your rear. Fair enough. Can you seal off the position? This is something that I would try and do if I could, and it's along the lines of you put your own troops of equal quantity outside the farmhouse, but say just outside musket range, try and turn the farmhouse into a prison. Whereas for them to attack you, they have to come out and fight you on equal terms, and if they don't, they're just locked in there and you're holding them in position with your troops who aren't taking casualties because they're not actually attacking. Now, it's a hard thing to do, and in the dynamics of a battle, it can very rarely happen, but it's something to think about. And the third dot point, what is it going to cost you to, in casualties, to take this position? Once again, it's the quality of troops you use. If you pull out of your front line your best troops to attack it, you're going to probably capture it fairly quickly, and if you don't, then it's going to take a lot longer and cost you more. Last 2 dot points is what will it cost you in time? Really important. If you have to wait for this position to be taken and it costs 5 or 6 moves, when our games generally only last, say, 10, 11 moves, that's a long delay. Will that delay allow the enemy to reposition his troops to better defeat you when you attack? So again, it's how quickly you wish to take this defended position. And last, do you have artillery to spare? If you do, you could blow this position to matchsticks with probably not a lot of time wasted. But generally, I find, at least in the games I play, the artillery is already employed firing at his infantry, his cavalry, or counter-battering his artillery, so that when you do go forward, you don't get slaughtered. So if you have it, use it. If you don't, it's not an issue. Okay, so there are the dot points that I thought of anyway on defending and attacking. Now we'll go and discuss Hougoumont.
Here's the battlefield of Waterloo. Now, Wellington had 3 defensive positions set up: Papelotte, La Haie-Sainte and Hougoumont, which is the one we're going to talk about. Napoleon wanted to get to Brussels as quick as he could. He always just wanted to go straight through the centre of the British. and he decided that to try and draw some of them away, he would do a feint on Hougoumont. He asked General Real to attack Hougoumont, but only to go as far as the woods. Here's a close-up. There's the woods. Real got General Jerome, gave him the job. Jerome just happened to be Napoleon's brother and decided to impress his big brother by taking the fortification. And so he attacked, wave after wave. As the French came out of the forest, or the woods rather, that they'd taken, they ran into what was described as a devastating fire. These walls were 8 foot tall and had holes poked in them by the British so they could fire through. The French continued uninspired to just attack wave after wave. How close did they get to taking Hougoumont? Well, a Lieutenant Legros managed to get around and came into the northern gate. Now, the northern gate was where the British were supplying reinforcements and ammunition to the troops inside. There were roughly 600 troops inside during the day. They were made up of 2 companies of guards, the 2nd Line Battalion of German Legions, the Brunswick Advance Guard. And Legros managed with the Pioneers' Axe to smash the door down and race in. A Colonel MacDonald, seeing the dire straits that they were in, got some guards and they closed that gate, locking inside the French. 30 French were locked inside and put to the bayonet. The drummer boy who managed to get in was spared. How they managed to lock that gate after it had been broken down is anyone's guess, but they actually did. The question becomes, why didn't the French smash this gate in with a Pioneer's Axe? Well, perhaps the fire coming from around here was too intense. But this road here, I wonder why they couldn't have brought down a horse gun or 2, blown that gate to smithereens. The French would have raced in and taken the farmhouse. Because with 600 defenders inside, the French had an entire corps, the 11th Corps, at their disposal. And during the course of the day, Jerome managed to use most of that up. They never did take the farmhouse. They set fire to it with howitzers at one stage. Even that didn't drive the British out. At the end of the battle, there were 10,000 casualties in and around Hougoumont. 7,500 were French, which is roughly 51% of the force. And it didn't do the French 1 ounce of good. Now imagine, if you want a diversion, and Jerome, if he'd taken this corps and moved it around the farmhouse, maybe just leaving a small detachment to lock the British inside, and started to worry the Allies on their right flank, right? The British artillery had been pounding the British along here to the point where Wellington got his troops to move back behind the ridge. Ney, seeing that happen, thought they were retreating, got his cavalry and attacked through here into the British. The British formed square, best defence against cavalry, and there they were in square with the cavalry attacking them. Now imagine this corps here now moves in and attacks all these infantry in square. It's game over for the British. But it didn't happen, and as they say, that's history. Okay, and as stated earlier, now we're on the tabletop. We're going to have a look at how Tricolour handles attacking a fortified position. Here's a typical house, fortified. How does it work? In our rules, every large window can have 2 firing from it, every small window 1. On the side where they might poke holes in the wall, you'll see they could do 4 there, 4 on top, so that's 8 either side. And at the back, of course, you've got 2 firing, 1, 1, 1, and 1. Now, that is a total of 36 firing positions. So that's how many men you might put in that house to hold it. Now, before we go any further, let's just have a quick look at the Tricolour rules on attacking fortified positions and then we'll do the battle. So we're looking at the Tricolour rules for houses, top row. Movement, it says troops coming out, take half a move to refuel. Musketry fire, count 4 men firing at a house as 1. That's super important. Artillery balls, normal casualties. Canister cut in half. Artillery fire over, no. Melee, refer to the break-in rules. We'll do them next. And the one you can't see, there's line of sight, just says you can't see through a house. Okay, so these were the additions we made to the Tricolour rules just to make the entry into a house understandable. It says there that artillery fire, cannon fire will destroy a door with one hit. Okay, attacking a house, troops reach a door, and the tries and a dice roll they need to smash their way in. If they have a Lieutenant Lagos type person with them, they get in a lot faster. And then there's a melee takes place inside, which you'll see in a second when we do a demonstration. But we added those just to make the rules more complete. Okay, so here are the French. Here they come. They arrive outside of musket range, which is 1 foot in our rules. So you would start off a foot away. First move, their muskets are loaded, so they can go the full 6 inches in line and fire. And so they advance towards the house. The first round of firing takes place, and what I didn't mention was this house has got grenadiers in it. Because the defender thinks it's worthwhile holding, he's put grenadiers in, whereas these are French line. Interesting. So the first round of firing takes place, and there's 13 shots coming from this side of the house, and it kills 5 French infantrymen. The French firing back, because 4 represent 1 as per the rules, there's only 10 points firing, so they kill 2 men inside, and we cross 2 off the card. And that's how it's neat and tidy. Okay, it's the second move. So what happens this time is the French Grenadiers attack the door of the farmhouse. We're going to send in the leftover light troops to help them. So the firing now will be concentrated on this side at them, and at this side on here, and all of those firing back there, which they do. At the point blank range firing out the window, they manage to kill 3 of these French attacking. And from this side of the firing house firing back, they manage to kill another 2. I'll take out another 2 casualties, and the French firing back only manage to get 1 inside the house. So I'll take that off the card. Move number 3. Now the French have succeeded in battering the door down, and they go into melee, but they're with their meleeing grenadiers, and there's only 4 of them, and it says in the rules 6 men can melee at a time, so the grenadiers have 6. It's anyone's fight, still 1-1. We rolled a dice, and the French lost. So they now retreat out of the farmhouse, and the firing takes place at the line, where another 4 French shot, and another 1 killed inside the house, which I'll cross off the card without holding it up to show you every time. There's 4 grenadiers inside being become casualties so far. In the next move, the firing happens again, but this time the French are trying to regroup. The whole farmhouse fires, and they take out 5 casualties. The French fire back, take out another 1 of the grenadiers inside, but we check their morale. It's below strength. We roll to see if they'll stay, and they don't. This particular unit is broken. Another French battalion moves into position, but that's a move wasted. So far we're up to 5 moves. Move number 6, and the French move forward. They're 6 inches. Muskets loaded. And the firing takes place. 4 French become casualties, and inside the farmhouse there are 4 casualties this time. Okay, so move number 7. The guards race in. The rest, these lights go in to help them. And the next firing takes place. Again, the defenders are trying to shoot down the attackers. which they do, and they manage to take out 2. And inside, and the rest of the house fires and takes out another 2 French. The French fire back and take 3 out from inside the house, starting to mount the Grenadier losses. Okay, move number 8 takes place. The French have already battered the door in once, so they get it first attempt, because whatever they did, the door was in a very bad state of repair, and in they go. So this time there's 6 Grenadiers against 6 Grenadiers. It's a 1-to-1, and once again we've rolled the dice, and they've just been unlucky enough not to win, and they have to retreat again, and they actually take a casualty out from the fighting inside, and the Grenadiers lose 1 inside as well, but they repel them. Now, if the Grenadiers had lost that, the whole 6 Grenadiers are bayoneted inside the house, because they've got nowhere to run to. All the doors are locked on the other side of the house. So that's, I guess, an advantage for the French if they can win that melee, which that's twice now they haven't. So the firing continues, and the house fires back, and they take out another 4 French, who fire back and take out another 2 Grenadiers. Okay, so the French now line up once again to reload and fire. The firing takes place, and 13 fire and take out another 4 French. French fire back and take out another 4 inside. But once again, we have to check the morale here, and we do, and it's a 6, so there's no way they're staying. The 2nd battalion breaks and leaves the field. Right, 3rd battalion moves up. That's move number 10. And on move number 11, they do the same thing. 6 inches and fire. So there's 13 points firing back this way, and it takes out 5 casualties. And the French managed to take out 2 from inside. The Grenadiers so far have lost 8 natives, 16, 20, 21 out of their 36. But because they're Grenadiers, they can go down to a quarter, which is 8. So they're still looking good. The French on the next move, which is move number 12, charge in with the Grenadiers again, and they're sending in that light as well to help them. We do point blank firing over here, takes out 3, and another 2 from the line there, from this side. Firing back, they take out another 2 in the house, Grenadiers. This time they charge in, and again there's 4 against 6, but that is still 1-to-1 odds, and we roll for that, and this time the French win. So because of that, the 6 Grenadiers that were defending, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are bayoneted, and the French lose 1 in the melee. Now that leaves 4, 5, 6, 7, and we said that as Grenadiers, morale-wise, they could go down to a quarter, which is 8. We have to test their morale now, and it fails. So in this instance, the Grenadiers that are left inside the farmhouse surrender, and because they're surrendering, they're not bayoneted, and the French have taken the farmhouse. It's, as you can see, it's taken 2 full battalions and about 2/3 of another one to actually take that farmhouse.
Okay, so there you go. I hope that sort of that video resonates with you about everything we discussed about defending a house and then having to attack it. Particularly, I want to mention that the house did have grenadiers in it, which made it particularly hard for line infantry, and it cost them dearly to do that. If you had the house full of normal line infantry like Nassaus or some such, the French probably would have taken it with 1 battalion or 1 and a bit battalions. But again, it goes back to that question: how much do you want to defend the house, and what quality troops you're going to put inside, because it does play an important part in costing the attacker casualties. All right, if you enjoyed that, please subscribe, and we'll get back into some battles or tabletop battles next video. All right, thanks for watching and being part of my YouTube channel. Really appreciate all you guys. Okay, bye.